Hey, what's up? Peace and abundance always. Peter Abundant here, aka Dr. Abundant, PhD and Minister of Metaphysical Sciences, which is ultimately the study of spirituality. Metaphysical sciences means the study of going beyond the physical, finding the deeper hidden meanings behind life and all you experience. But particularly today, we're going to get more into the hidden, deeper meanings of the Bible, particularly the book of Genesis, the story of creation. Now, we've covered already the 7 days of creation and really understanding that the 7 days of creation, it's not about God, the grand creator, the ultimate creator, creating the planet Earth. It's really about the divine within you, the God within you, creating your reality or even creating that which you desire. So basically, it's a basic blueprint of manifestation. Okay. So this is by no means a dig or a criticism or me saying that Christianity isn't real. This is not a religious point of view or a religious stance. This is a spiritual, metaphysical interpretation of the Bible and its divine wisdom. So I'm not coming to you as a minister of Christianity, but as a minister of metaphysical sciences, which I am. So we're going to go deeper into this book, into the text, into what it really means on a metaphysical level, on a deep spiritual level. How does this pertain to you? And what I want you to do, if you're somebody who is Christian and you feel a little bit triggered by this, is to ask yourself why you're triggered. There may be a stance that you just don't feel fully strong about. And therefore, that, kind of makes you feel a little bit standoffish or insecure or bothered. And I believe that when we are triggered, it is because we're not quite stable. We're not quite strong in our foundation as to what it is that we believe or know. And that is okay. That is a great opportunity for you to actually open your mind and expand and grow. Okay. Because if you're really dialed into either a belief system or a way of living, then it doesn't matter what you hear. You can hear it openly from a place of understanding, and it still really won't affect you, right? It won't change you. It will always add to you. Okay. And that is the essence of the spiritual journey, is really recognizing that everything, and I mean everything, is from the intention of addition to, right? Because we are all experiencing this world. When you are somebody who is dialed into the spiritual journey, you recognize that all of it is good. It's just a matter of how you perceive it. Okay. So your perception must change in order for you to accept that and really see and receive that everything that you experience is for you. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to get into really a recap of the 7 days of creation and how it actually means you creating your reality or you materializing that which you desire. Okay. So day one was about clarity. It's about light. Let there be light. It's about defining, right, your desire clearly, having a clear understanding of what that is. Day two is order. Okay. Separation of the waters. That is aligning your thoughts and creating structure. Day three is about grounding, where it mentions dry land, right, which is about laying the foundation for growth. Day four is about alignment, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Trust in divine timing and universal laws. Day five is about action, where we talk about the birds and the sea creatures. It's about the infusing of energy and the momentum, right, into your desire, putting and implementing those things into your desire. 6 is about embodiment, right? Living creatures and humanity, where you realize and you embrace your creation. And then finally, day 7 is the day of rest, which is about surrender. That is about releasing yourself from attachments and expressing gratitude. So now that those days have been covered, we're going to get into the next verses in the Bible. Okay. And let me begin by putting on my glasses and we will get started in reviewing this verse. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 5 through 7. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So let's break this down, okay? Because a lot of the verses, the text kind of references other things that we mentioned before. So there's this level of moving forward in the steps, but also recognizing the previous steps before. So we recognized once before that the materialization of things has already, basically, it is a result of something that has already happened. When we talk about the seed, the fruit, we're essentially talking about this understanding that those things grow and the seed in itself has the potential, the essence of an entire tree, right? That blossoms many fruits within that small little seed. And all you have to do is plant a seed, water the seed, provide it with the nutrients, and it will actually materialize that in physical form. And that's what this whole process is about, breaking down these 7 days. So here, when it says, in every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God has not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no man, right? There was not a man to till the ground. So it hints to that again about, and every plant in the field before it was on the earth. This understanding that it is here in intangible reality, in the spiritual realm, in your mind, in your consciousness. And thus, when God, right, began to create this mist, and the mist went up, right? It says, and then went up a mist from the earth that watered the whole face of the ground. So it really plays into this, the earth needs to be maintained, right? It needs to be, it mentions here, all right, there was not a man to till the ground. So there needs to be physical activity happening here, okay, in order for these things to actually materialize and manifest. Okay, I'm going to read it again because I feel like I was a little clumsy before. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth. Okay, so those things, though the potential of those things are there, and though they're in our minds as a reality, the Lord God, right, the law within you, consciousness, has not caused it to rain upon the earth. So, right, and it says, and there was not a man to till the ground. So we did all the planting, we did all the preparation, right? We went through all the processes of visualizing what we want, creating the seed, understanding the seed of its kind, right? Understanding the fruit of its kind, the animal of its kind, understanding how when we start something, it usually, especially when we are consistent, feeds into, right, and grows other things. One habit will start a new habit and ultimately will culminate in you really witnessing and creating a world, a reality, a utopia, right? Your heaven. And so, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So that means until we actually make it rain, right? Until we actually till the ground, then these things are not actually going to materialize and manifest. They're not going to be, they essentially need to be maintained. Okay. So let's get into the final part. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. So now we're talking about actually taking from the actual substantial aspect of manifestation, right? Because we have the sky, we have the waters, we have the earth, we have the firmament that separates the sky from the earth and the waters, right? The firmament represents, again, your conscious mind that decides what is a good idea, what is an idea that you're actually going to pursue. Those ideas come down basically to the ground level, sea level, right? Sea level represents where the whales are, where the fish are. Those whales require more focus, more consistency because they result more, they create more result. All right. The ground, the earth represents the growth of the seeds, right? Again, getting into habits, getting into ideas, actually pursuing and making things happen. Okay. Planting the seeds, beginning to build out this idea of your own earth, your own reality. So when we think about this idea of the mist and up, right? But there went up a mist from the earth. That is you again taking the actual like idea and making sure that that idea is cultivated, that you are continuously cultivating the ideas, that you're moving forward in the growth of this actual, materialization, right? This actual desire. Okay. Now I want to get into this aspect of, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. This is the most important part. Now, remember it referenced there was not a man to till the ground. And when we're talking about to till the ground, that means basically to cultivate the land so that way you can actually grow and actually create things, right? And that's a representation of you actually materializing something. You need to actually do something, okay? You can't just visualize, especially if you want it to be physical, right? And that's what we're talking about, taking something from the metaphysical or even the intangible spiritual, and then wanting to materialize it in this physical form, then you have to do something physical, okay? And so it says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. So now we're talking about your consciousness creating its body, okay? Materializing your body from the most physical essence of the ideas that you're having, or the actual creation of the reality that you're creating. This is about you creating your body, right? Your consciousness actually creating form, a shape, a structure. Why? Because it is your nature to create. And since we are here on this physical plane, then you need a physical body in order to do so. This means you have to do physical things in order to materialize that which you desire on a physical level. In our minds, in our spirits, in our consciousness, there is nothing you cannot do. It is instant, it is fast, it is right away. On a physical level, though, the rules are different. This is why when we talked about, one of the steps as far as paying attention to the cycles, the patterns, the rhythms, that is recognizing that the law of this physical realm is different when it comes to time and timing. So the same thing applies to the physical body being not a beacon, but being a medium, a vehicle, a machine that actually moves forward on the same plane as this physical world, as the earth, as the waters, right? As the air, as the firmament that separates the water and the air. You essentially have to do something in order to get that which you desire. So, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So essentially, this is us. Your consciousness has to be in this physical body, giving it life in order to move forward in creating the reality that you want. So it's interesting because it's a little bit backwards, right? Like you would think in terms of the creation story, right? Because you are God in this story, you are the creator of your reality, and these are the steps of creation. You would think, okay, well, you need the body, and then you can start creating, right? But remember, all of this happens here, okay? But then once you get to the point of surrender and allowing, then we're talking about materializing something physical. Maybe not even physical, but there is something that needs to be done. There is a level of maintenance, right? There's a level of making sure you are curating, you are cultivating the environment for that which you desire to manifest. Now, yes, it can manifest only in your mind if you are completely fine with that, and that's okay. It can also, like most of us, our intention is to manifest it in this physical realm, right? Because then it is doing both. You materialize it in your mind, but also you do it in accordance with these physical laws and materialize it here. Okay. So that is where we actually till the ground. Okay. We make sure that the seeds are getting water, right? Are getting sunlight. We make sure we're doing whatever it takes to continue to maintain the rhythm, the pattern, right? The maintenance, the flow of the creation, the gestation, the actual growth, maturity, and the blossomings of the fruit of this thing that you desire. All right. That's really what I wanted to pull from this whole thing is we've gone through all these steps, right? And there are many steps of how to materialize things. This is coming from the Bible. And I think the majority, most of them are true. Okay. But the thing that many people miss is the consistency of maintaining that which you decided you wish to create. If you're not maintaining it and you're not honoring the cycles of its manifestation, right? The patterns, the rhythms, the timing, then you're going to essentially not create that thing. Bottom line. That's the only way I could say it, right? It's not going to happen for you. But you have to be consistent. You have to plow. You have to till the ground. Like you have to think in terms of being a farmer, and that's hard work and it's patient work. And essentially, this is what we're doing, but on a whole nother level, because not only are we tilling the ground and making sure that there's water on the seeds, but we're also maintaining animals, right? We're maintaining the fowl up above flying, the birds. We're maintaining the whales and the creatures of the sea, the creepy things. We're maintaining the animals. You see, we're maintaining even your own consciousness, all right? And making sure that you're focused and dialed into that which you desire. So you have to make sure that you are consistent. Now, the best way to be consistent is to recognize that you are always creating. So because this is your very nature and there is nothing you can do to avoid this. All right. Being a creator is who you are, is what you are. So, that being the case, it isn't a matter of whether or not you cannot create something. You can literally create anything that you desire. The question is, are you focused in? Are you dialed in? Are you 100% clear and have the blinders on as to what it is you want to focus on and what it is you want to materialize? Because what happens for many of us is because we're not honoring things like the timing and the patterns and the stars of how long that thing takes to gestate, mature, and grow, we lose patience. And then we jump onto something else. And then we go through the list of all of these 7 steps. Then again, we don't trust how long it's going to take. We're not patient with how long it's going to take, right? We're impatient. Then we jump onto another thing. Then we jump onto another thing. We've created so many earths, right? So many realities, so many things that we could have we have begun actually materializing, but have not continued to move forward and make it happen. Okay. So you have it here, but because you haven't seen it in a physical form in a certain time, because your ego is not patient, then you quickly give up and you jump onto something else. And I know you do, because that is what we have to do. We have to do something. So it is important to stay focused and committed on one thing, no matter how long it takes. That is the trick to it all. If you are clear that this is what it is, then it is. You see? It's just simply a matter of allowing the universe to actually communicate to you when the timing is. And once you get it the first time, then you know, okay, now I know. This is how long it takes for this thing to materialize and gestate and grow. So the next time it's easier, easier, and easier. All right. So let's look through some of these notes here and see if I missed anything. Let's see. So every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. So this verse reveals a powerful spiritual truth. Everything exists in potential form before it manifests physically. Okay. That is the point I was trying to make earlier. All right. Before anything appears in the world, if it is first a thought, an energy, an unseen reality. Okay. Again, we're coming from here and then we are creating it out here. All right. Doesn't happen any other way around. Some people think they need to see it to believe it. No, you need to be it in order to see it. Okay. All right. Every plant before it was on the earth, the unseen reality of your desires before they materialize. Every herb before it grew, your manifestations exist in an energetic form before they appear in your life. All right. This means that everything you desire is already created at a higher level of consciousness. It simply has not yet materialized in physical form because the conditions have not yet aligned for it to do so. The main conditions are you, okay? You are a part of this creation story, okay? You are man coming from the dirt. So what that also represents, and I'm glad I was just reminded of this. Remember, your consciousness is God, right? Individually expressed through you. So you are going through these steps, visualizing, deciding what it is that you want to create, recognizing the signs, creating the ideas, practicing planting the seed, surrender, letting rest, trusting in the divine timing and all that stuff. Then we are then creating man, right? Now, you are also a part of this creation. Though you are creating that which you desire, you are part of the creation because you are of that kind. You are coming out of that earth, so to speak, right? Your consciousness is one that matches with that which you desire. It has to. This is where you have to, this is where you align. You must be aligned with that thing in order for it to actually exist in this physical form. You see, if you are not, it's like this. If you are creating a planet, right? Which you are, you're creating your reality and you create this planet, and then you take a creature, right? A man or something from another planet that isn't compatible with this planet. What's going to happen? That creature is going to die. But now in this case, man is coming from the dirt of this earth. So man is of the same kind as the earth. Man represents you being in alignment with that which you desire and which you are creating. So this is very important to recognize that you must be at the same level of consciousness of that which you desire in order for it to manifest and materialize. Okay. Very, very, very important. And with that, you are essentially being the person that has the thing that you desire to have. Okay. That is why it is later on, because now you have to recognize that you're going to create these things and you're doing the things. But once you recognize and start seeing progress and seeing the growth of that thing that you are creating, right? Materializing, things are falling into place. You're noticing the synchronicities. You have to create yourself in alignment with that in order to have that, because now you have to be the person who knows how to maintain it, to knows how to take care of it, that knows how to, have dominance and subdue, right, the animals and take over or control and manage the domain of this planet, because you are of the planet. You see, man, this stuff gets deep. All right. I'm trying to think of anything else. Let's see if I could find anything else here, because I think we pretty much covered it. All right. So let's get into the mist real quick. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. This is the moment of activation. The mist rises from within the earth, not from the sky. That's deep to understand. This represents inner transformation and subconscious awakening. That's deep. Okay, let's go. The mist from the water is the subconscious mind bringing forth light. So remember, forms of water, it seems to all represent the subconscious mind. We talked about the waters, that they were separated, and then the seas. The seas represent the subconscious mind. The sky also represents the subconscious mind, but the seas is more of the tangible, real stuff that we deal with on a subconscious level in order to materialize and manifest things. So when we're talking about the seas and we're talking about the earth, right? The land coming out the seas, well, the land, because its part is with the seas, right? There's water in the land as well. And so when it comes to the, transformation, like that water rises out of the sea, it's like evaporation, right? And then it comes down back to the earth. So there's this constant recycling of that subconscious programming that you have to be mindful about. You have to be mindful about the subconscious programming, because it's a thing that's really the thing that's on autopilot. So you have to make sure that you programmed the subconscious appropriately, so that way the autopilot knows and takes you where you really want to go. All right. Let's see. I think that pretty much covers it. Let's get into the formation of man here. I'm looking at these notes. And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground. All right. Dust of the ground, the physical body, the material world, the vessel. Okay. Forming man, the process of bringing divine consciousness into form. Again, that's what I mentioned about your body. Your body is divine consciousness into form. And every time you elevate and you ascend when it comes to your consciousness, your form will change as well, right? And it should change from a place of alignment, beauty, fitness, strength, because you recognize that your body is a vessel. Your body is the home by which you house your consciousness, which you house the divinity, which you house the individualized expression of God. So think about it. If God came to you, right, the creator came to you and said, hey, I need a place to stay. Where are you going to put God? What kind of home are you going to put God in? You want to make sure it's the best, most amazing, most clean, maintained, strong in structure, right? You're going to make sure that that house is by far the best house, period. That is your body. So you have to see your body differently. But when you are truly aligned with consciousness and your consciousness is expanding, it then will understand that. And it then will not neglect the body. Because a lot of people get so spiritual that they forget the importance of the physical form. Okay. And you never want to do that, because then you get into problems where now you are neglecting the physical form, and that is causing you discomfort. That is distracting you from the spiritual journey, because now it's hard for you to meditate because, okay, now my knees hurt, right? It's hard for you to go take a walk because you're not physically fit, right? You're having issues with your intestines because you're drinking dairy, or you're doing this, or you're eating this, and you're doing that, and you're not aligning your body as a temple. Very important. You have to really think about that. And that will help and support you with getting over the food addictions. We're all addicted to food on some level. Okay. Fast food, sugary foods, processed foods, right? Even if you are somebody who is ingesting and taking fruits and vegetables a lot, you got to consider where the source of those foods are, right? So there's always something, but the point is there's always a process of getting better, right? All you got to do is focus on getting better, to cleanse your temple, to make sure that your essence, God within, is comfortable and able to actually channel the wisdom and information through you, right? So keep that in mind, all right? The breath of life, the awakening of the living soul. The breath of life, the divine consciousness, awareness, and self-realization. Man became a living soul, the shift from the mere existence to spiritual awakening. So I'm just sharing random thoughts that the thought about here, and that may resonate with you as a whole. Okay. This verse teaches that you are not fully alive until you become aware of your divine nature. This is a fact. This is a fact. The physical body is a vessel, but your true self is the awareness within it, the observer, the creator, the divine essence. So we're going to conclude, and we're going to give you some takeaways here. Let's get into these takeaways. So let's wrap this up. Let's see. Manifestation exists before it appears in the physical form. Okay. Your desires already exist in an energetic form before they actually take shape. 2, some manifestations take time. Okay. Because the conditions are not yet aligned. All right. We talked about that when we talked about the stars, the sun, moon, and the stars. There is no delay. There is only divine timing. Keep that in mind. 3, creation happens from within first. Just as mist arises from the earth, your reality is shaped by your inner consciousness. 4, You are not just a body. You are divine awareness. The breath of life is your consciousness, your divine intelligence. 5, true life begins when you awaken to your divine nature. Man became a living soul when he became aware of himself as a conscious creator, which is what you are. So that essentially concludes, but I'm going to go through this once again later on to wrap it all up, put it in a nice bow, review what it is that we went through from day 1 to day 7. And hopefully this expands and opens up your consciousness to a level of recognizing that all of this wisdom is about you. Okay? All of this life that you're experiencing starts and ends with you. And I want you to really take that in and receive that. This doesn't mean that everything that's bad that's happened is your fault. It just means you just wasn't aligned. You just didn't know. Okay? But I also want you to recognize that even the things that are quote unquote bad that happens for a reason. And that reason is to wake you up, to bring you to alignment. And if that is the reason why those bad things happened, then those things are not bad at all. So let's wake up. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free, go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.